I'm back with another video about powerful people in the world. So today I'm going to talk about Donald Trump and Elon Musk and what the astrology says about how they get along, what their relationship or partnership is about, where it might evolve towards, and what's the potential overall. So I wanted to talk about them because there's been for me, a bit of a confusing situation where uh, they, well, let's say Elon Musk was saying that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files after their fall off, essentially, and well, he retracted it quite soon after that. But yeah, now they're like best friends again. So what's going on? So to analyze this, I'm going to look at their charts overall. This is South Indian charts. Donald Trump is in orange, Elon Musk is in black. And I'm also going to use a certain Vedic technique, an Indian ancient like astrological system that was used back in the golden days, as they call it, to organize arranged marriages. So for arranged marriages, back when the know-how was still there, how to do it, it was very important for two people to be able to be emotionally have emotional affinity, to feel comfortable around each other, to feel good around each other, to feel safe around each other. And that is the number one thing that is looked at, and it's the number one thing I look at in terms of relationships. If that shows problems, the relationship can never be. Doesn't matter what other indications there are. It might be temporarily good, but if you live together a long time, then it will just be too draining to work out. So that means that, and that really it applies the most to romantic relationships, but it's also very important for friendships, business partnerships, and even when I looked at many startups, many unicorns, and like big companies like Google, Facebook, Nvidia, etc., Apple, how they were created, and like who were the main creators. Usually there were two or three guys, and I looked at the compatibility between them with the same technique, the emotional affinity essentially, and how comfortable they feel around each other. And it was very, very clear that basically all of them had good compatibility. The ones that had real successful companies. So even in these situations, if you want to reach the highest level of cooperation and partnership with anyone, this is the most essential thing for long-term ability to achieve something. Because if you feel emotionally drained, eventually you will fall sick if you keep working very close together with the other person that you're just kind of not meshing well, not flowing well together with. So in politics, it's also important. Of course, there's bound to be some partners, some corporations where you have to work with people that are not compatible with. But if it needs to be a close, tight cooperation, tight relationship, friendship, I looked at, like, basically with all of my friends, I have good compatibility essentially, and all of the friends that have stayed with me for like more than 5 years. The other ones have fallen off. There's been very few with whom I have okay, not good, not bad compatibility. So yeah, and Donald Trump and Elon Musk, to summarize, first of all, that compatibility, which is called Ashtakutas, means eight strengths. This is based on the moon placement. So the moon is our emotional mind, our needs, wants, and desires, and our like inner child. They get basically 26 and a half points, which is to put it, it's maximum 36, and the average is like 17. So about 20, everything is already really good and harmonious. 26 is really high. That's like, so they vibe with each other. They feel good around each other. They enjoy being with each other essentially, at least on a subconscious level. Now, one thing which is actually even more important for relationships is looking at the people's personal capacity for relationships, and there's various things we can look at that, and one of them is also looking at their moon condition. um, Elon Musk's moon is okayish, but he has a quite a difficult Venus placement with Saturn there, which shows that he can emotionally connect maybe, but he's not able or destined to have relationships which are mutually beneficial and nourishing and supportive. So he tends to give more than he gets usually, given with that Saturn, on an emotional and personal level. So he might get a lot of money in his work and achievements, but that doesn't emotionally fulfill him in that way. It doesn't nourish him in that way. So that's with Elon Musk. That's kind of like choosing bad partners often, not really knowing how to work with partners. That's his big big blemish on his chart that you can see. And Donald Trump has a even more complex situation with his moon with the south node, which means basically he's withdrawn. He tends to like um, hold back his emotions, hold back his emotional fulfillments and desires. So he's also, and other indications also we show that he also doesn't have a great Venus. Um, he's much more of a, you know, kind of like go hard and do it like just Elon Musk the same way. They have like very good sun placements, shows their like identity and leadership capabilities. But yeah, the moon. So this just shows that they both struggle with relationships. So even if they end up with someone who's like they will feel comfortable and good around and will, you know, feel good cooperating with, doesn't mean that they actually will be able to do that, because they just the baseline for that is poor. Nothing catastrophic or anything. You wouldn't expect it from people who have really succeeded. They have to have had some successful relationships essentially to get there. No one makes it alone. So yeah, what can we say? One more thing I wanted to mention. People like Donald Trump, who's a president of the probably the most powerful country in the world, and people like Elon Musk, who's literally the has the highest net worth in the world with 700 billions. Um, they are not. It's not their first rodeo, essentially. They've probably been in leadership positions in previous lives, either business leaderships, country, or some form of government, city level government leaderships for sure. And they have that good baseline of they know how to lead, they know how to take charge, and in this lifetime they've just, you know, done that on a larger scale. Donald Trump himself has a very fated life. He's born in an eclipse. I talked more in depth about that in another video, but essentially that was his destiny to become the president and to become the president in the most hectic time in the U.S. History potentially, or at least one of the most hectic times. So that's also something to note about them. Now, what we can see here is that so Elon Musk's moon is here in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, which is a Vedic star sign, and Trump's is in Mula. This is basically one thing that we can see is like how what's the distance from one person to the other. So from Elon to Donald Trump, we can see there's like 4 signs, and then from Trump to Elon, there's like 9, 8, and well 10, and it depends how you count, and uh, that shows that Elon Musk is more the initiator. He's the one approaching Trump with ideas, solutions. He's the one who's like more generating these ideas and like pushing them towards Trump, while Trump is more on the receptive side in this particular dynamic. And from Trump to Elon Musk, the ideas like kind of are not that easily expressed. So this is really interesting that Trump usually doesn't, you wouldn't expect someone like Trump to be even like have this kind of dynamic with anyone. But there's also another thing, which is that Trump has magnetic attraction towards Elon Musk, which means essentially, like in a relationship, this is literally a magnetic attraction. You just feel like, like in a romantic relationship, this is how it would feel. Like it's like, oh my god, like it's just something I really like about them. I don't know what it is. On a friendship, partnership level, this is more going to manifest in terms of like, I'm willing to, you know, like even if we're on bad terms, we're still kind of on a good term. Like there's something that there's some sort of affinity that's going to stay. And so yeah, this is part of the reason why Trump, even after Elon Musk called him out for being in Epstein files, uh, didn't take that long to forgive Elon basically. And yeah, that's kind of what's keeping them together. It's interesting, really, that this combination here shows that Elon Musk gets to really, mm, assert his influence on Donald Trump, and as such also on American politics. Donald Trump does respect Elon, and yeah, that's kind of the one interesting dynamic. Now there is this with the moon placements. This is one of the eight strengths. It's called the yoni, which means basically vulva. It means essentially it's about our primal instincts, our most like subconscious primal instincts, which will activate in times of crisis when we don't know what to do, like when our brain is switched off because this is a like situation that's just like chaotic and like fucked. Then this is that's where our yoni will activate, and the yonis are symbolized, so each moon has its own yoni. Mula has the dog, so that's Donald Trump's kind of instinctive nature, which is to retreat and to lick his wounds. And so that's what Donald Trump tends to do on an emotional level. When there's a problem, he hides it. He doesn't show it to others. Like dogs don't like to be bothered to others. That's what Donald Trump has learned from his childhood, that he can never be essentially weak. He can't show his weaknesses, and so he's there when he when he's in an emotional level in a crisis, when he doesn't know what to do. We will not know about it, and that's even amplified by that south node there with the moon, when he's kind of holding back his emotions or really processing them very much only internally. Elon Musk has a rat yoni. Rats are a bit sneaky in a way. The tendency for a rat in a crisis is to lie out of the situation. They, yeah, that's kind of no. It's important to note none of these are good or bad. In some situations, one type of yoni might work. In some other situation, another type of yoni might be the best thing to do. And it's just, this is an instinctive nature. This is just how people are wired. on a very deep level that they can't really, change. It's very difficult to change your moon dynamics because it's so subconscious and deep there. Um, yeah, so that's the red theory, and that was actually kind of an interesting point where I thought that when Elon Musk did say that Donald Trump is not releasing the Epstein files because he's in there, that Rat Yoni suggested that might have been just a time of crisis for Elon Musk. He was just like he had this idea of Doge and like cutting government expenditure, and finally things are like moving in the right direction, and Donald Trump just watered it down with the new one, what was it, one big beautiful bill or something, and. And so probably it was so that the emotion, like Elon Musk tends to get into like emotional crisis quite easily, to be honest. He has had a very turbulent childhood, and yeah, this can just show that wasn't maybe perhaps true. He was just kind of like instinctively saying something to get out of the situation cleanly himself. Now, yeah, so these two, there's a for Yoni compatibility, there's maximum 4 points. They get 1 point, which is not nothing special. There's like one to three is pretty normal. But it does mean that there was a little bit of confluence there, which means that their instinctive natures during crisis are not easily meshing well together, but they're not exactly like causing extra problems. So yeah, that's one thing there. Um, And another thing which is causing them problems, usually with 26 points, you will just not even almost look at these problems because they're kind of not going to show. But with Elon Musk and Donald Trump, first of all, this is not a romantic relationship. This is a partnership situation where they have like, they're not that easily connecting. Also, by their nature, they're not very good with relationships. So, any kind of problems will quite evidently show, and so yeah, that's so there's another factor which is called Ghana, which literally means I'll just call it race. Essentially, there's three races. Uh, we'll call them races. They're basically there's the angel, who are like divine but can be a bit superficial. They're like very like they like to do things cleanly, beautifully, like in a kind of like in a Christian way, like everyone's like kind of like doing good. Um, Neither of them have that. Uh, then, but they can be like the Deva has this thing that they can be a bit too traditional, maybe, or superficial. But they're like very pleasant people to be around usually. Uh, of course, unless other indications don't, you know, damage that. Then Elon Musk has human or Manusha in Sanskrit. So he's the human race, and humans are progressive. They're like technology, building, like just whatever works. Let's be pragmatic. Let's progress through life, and let's like you know kind of bridge the gap between like the good and the evil in a way, and just let just be do what works. He yeah, so that's Elon Musk's nature. I mean, it's pretty simple to see, I guess. And Donald Trump has um, I would call it like a Titan race. So this is the third one. Now, um, the in Sanskrit it's called Rakshasa. It's a bit difficult to translate into English. It's a very specific thing. We don't really have a cultural like equivalent for that. but it essentially means a turbulent, um, temperamental type, someone who's like, titans in the books are like, some of them translate them as like demons, but demons have this kind of like evil connotation to it, which the Rakshasas are not about. Rakshasas are more like causing trouble. They're like, causing, stirring up chaos, and the Rakshasa nature is essentially, mm, yeah, chaos and thriving in chaos, and also like breaking boundaries, breaking the systems. Especially strong with Trump's case, his Mula is about, uprooting what doesn't work, and uprooting, things in general. And um, so he has this, Donald Trump has this nature of, he doesn't, he kind of runs on his emotions at times, sometimes preferring chaos over order, or more often so, than not. And he's the kind of guy that mixes things up. This is so Rakshasa nature is, again, all three, like races are very, like, you know there's no one is better or other, over other. But the thing is, like, yeah, with them, there's a bit of a dissonance there. Rakshasas don't tend to get, along with other, types very well. So with Elon Musk, he that's one of the things he doesn't like about Trump. Trump makes kind of temperamental decisions. He brings up chaos. You know, Elon Musk likes to do like, this is how it's been working. This is let's do it this way. Let's be pragmatic. And Trump is like, yeah, one big beautiful bill, let's go. Um, so that's one thing where they lose also like 4.5 points. Out of the possible six, they get only 1.5 essentially. And yeah, so these are the basically the only real like troublemakers in their, compatibility for mostly. So this with these two, they lose a combined of 7.5 points. So they lose under 3 points here and there total. And yeah, so this just shows they have like really good long-term compatibility, long-term collaboration, possibility. Now, there is also some indications we can see from the charts. So there is a good chance that, as I was talking about them having been like perhaps rulers of some kind in past lives, then this is Elon Musk's rising. This is basically what the, shows who Elon Musk is, and this is where Donald Trump has his anti-vertex, which is also like part of like, identity, or like personal kind of self point. Um, and that's so they're in the same signs. And Donald Trump's, this is his rising, with his Mars there, the martial nature. He has this kind of like warrior type mentality. And Elon Musk anti-vertex and K2, which is, soft notes, which is also about, past life, where he's moving away from. So there's this type of connection there with Donald Trump's, fighting mentality. So there's indications that they've, cooperated in past lives, or at least come in touch with each other in the dynamic of being rulers, or in the dynamic of perhaps one being a. I'm guessing Trump might have been even maybe a war, like an army, general, like of the highest order basically. And Elon Musk definitely has been a king of sorts, or a businessman, or like a very higher level ruler like this. Given his intelligence, it's kind of, interesting. It's very difficult to think like where exactly or who exactly he might have been, because he's not just a leader; he's a genius, on top of that. So yeah, that's so this yeah this shows that, and this shows also there's the South Node and Mars connection there, that there's been a bit of struggle and conflict in their past connections, and they have to work it out in this lifetime. So there's still, in the past 10 years or so, Musk has been quite critical of Trump. It, maybe yeah, 10 years ago it was much more so than today. Today he hasn't, like, he's much more supportive. So this is in a way like a completion phase. The conflict times, let's just say, like, as they progress through life, there will be less conflict, and this is what's how it's shown here. um and another interesting combination is that Donald Trump's north node here is quite close to Elon Musk's Venus, and then the Saturn is also in the same sign. And this, for Donald Trump, this north node with the Sun is really indicating in his chart his leadership and his presidency, essentially. That's where he has grown into. He's growing into this role. And the more he goes. So this is really, as he grows into this, he activates this side of the chart for Elon Musk, which is this Venus Saturn combination, which I talked about being Elon Musk making poor relationships, giving more than he gets. Um, and that Saturn also there. Now the Venus is closer, so there's this sense of like this Venus is good, so uh, good to have with the Rahu in that combination. That means that as Donald Trump becomes a leader, he can show Elon Musk ways to make partnerships, mutually beneficial partnerships, happen. So this is what Elon Musk is actually learning by cooperating with Trump. This is actually like on a personal level a bit of a healing combination for Elon Musk, even because it's in a sort of 12th house. So this shows that he also learns to let go and relax and not be so stubborn and inflexible in his relationships. But that Saturn there shows that it doesn't come easily. Like I think Elon Musk is, yeah, well, in like 5 years he'll be having his Saturn return, second Saturn return. So most likely after that, and during that time, there will be some transformation happening here, and their partnership will take on a new kind of dynamic, which will be much less tense. Until then, Elon Musk will probably, on some level, try to restrict or hold back what Trump tries to do, because for him that's scary. That's the kind of uh, where Trump is growing into. This is what Elon Musk is lacking, and he uh, doesn't feel safe there. Doesn't feel safe with Trump manifesting oil from Venezuela, or like just creating more financial opportunities for the U.S. I'm not sure if that will succeed or not. I'm just saying there's a hypothetical possibility that this might work this way. Uh, Elon Musk does not see that. Elon Musk um, kind of, yeah, tones it down a bit. He feels like this won't work, even though this is Donald Trump's like destiny, and he's headed that way no matter what. So that will definitely be a strain in the relationship for times to come. They also have a combination that which I didn't mark here, but Elon Musk has his Jupiter here, uh, where Donald Trump has his fourth house, and Donald Trump has his Jupiter uh, here, where Elon Musk has his fourth house. So Jupiter is a planet of expansion, wisdom, comfort, not comfort, expansion, wisdom, and charity. And fourth house is our internal home, happiness, private life. So there's a sense that in private they really are about helping each other grow, expand. There's a It just amplifies the mutual affinity towards each other. So what we're likely to see over time is there's just so much emotional support for each other that it's unlikely that they will fall off on a big level. There might be some more, you know, things to work through with some conflicts and stuff, and there's definitely going to be disagreements. But as I see their partnership, I see that there's potential. There's nothing. There's potential for mutual growth. I don't see anything that in particular that would indicate that they would have like massive like collaborative building together, um, like leading together type of situation. But I do feel like they will be on good terms. They will be on good terms basically from now to ever, forever. So yeah, this is the kind of thing that is visible with this relationship technique. I also do readings. I do relationship readings where I can talk more in depth about their natures. There's a lot of things I did not discuss here because it is not all that relevant in terms of like how they will publicly work out or not, but on a personal level, there's a lot more to lot more depth to it, and basically there's two ways I really like. I really like this compatibility system. I use this for seeing, you know, who works with whom in partnerships. So it's very good for in a situation where you don't know if you're a bit confused about a partnership, a friendship, romantic relationship. It's like there's something there, but you're really not sure. Is this, you know, is there potential to go further? That's one way to look at it. And another thing is if it's already an established relationship and you really just want it to be better, then analyzing things like this yoni, this race, there's elemental types, so fire, water, or air, um, and like just this understanding each other, understanding yourself, and how the differences play out in the relationship. I find this to be very useful for really repairing relationships and enabling them to, you know, even with like let's say somewhat complicated compatibility, if you're aware of what's going on, it just makes it so much easier. Just it makes it impersonal. It doesn't like there's it's easier to look at it as like, yeah, this is how they are. There's nothing wrong with me for being how I am. There's nothing wrong with them being how they are, even if it does make it a bit difficult to be in a relationship. And you just know that, well, maybe we just need to be time apart and then we can come together again, for example, just, you know, take a walk or something. And um, yeah, so if you're interested in a reading like that, then I have that on my website, linked in the description. And also I will be doing more of these videos and analyzing current political situations, so if you're interested in that topic, then you can like and subscribe.